Well, we're almost there, folks. The penultimate Christmas special before Rankin-Bass closed its doors. And it's a Christmas special all about leprechauns! Gonna be honest, I did not see this coming. I mean, it's not like dual holiday specials and movies don't exist and can't be popular. Nightmare Before Christmas is a thing, and Rise of the Guardians was pretty good. But Christmas and a commercialized stereotype of Irish culture often used to symbolize St. Patrick's Day, I'm curious to see where they're going with this. Our narrator this time, played by Art Carney, is a leprechaun named Blarney Kilkillarney, who tells the tale of Dinty Doyle, a young sailor who, sent ashore to dig up a Christmas tree for his ship, accidentally ends up digging up a pine tree that just happens to have a banshee buried underneath, Old Mag the Hag. She summons up a storm to celebrate her freedom, which causes a rainbow to form, revealing a cavern full of gold where Dinty ends up meeting Blarney, who tells the young sailor the story of how he helped to stop her, but lost his family and all the other gold miners to the way of the shoemakers. And afterwards, Dinty promises to help to make up for his mistake of setting the Banshee free by helping to keep her hands off of the gold. The special is one of the shorter ones, sub 25 minutes, so it doesn't really have a lot of time to tell its story, but in that way, it does keep things moving swiftly. It's short and it's sweet, but the stakes are decidedly low for this one. The last special played out like a fairy tale, this one plays out more like a brief fable. As a consequence, literally no one has much of a personality other than being Irish, or rather having Irish accents. The characters all have distinct designs at least, but it isn't really enough to keep the special from feeling very boring. Even the major villain this time, Old Mag, feels very throwaway. Yes, she causes problems, but a majority of her actions are to try and secure her own survival. And in the end, it isn't even the heroes who end up doing her in, but rather just poor timing on her part. Dinty himself barely qualifies as a main character, as more of the special focuses on Blarney and his history and family, rather than Dinty, who mostly feels like he's there on accident. I will give it this, it is a very beautiful special. None of the usual Christmas highlights, so no snow or anything like that, but the lush green countryside and occasionally a shore really does make it feel like you're on the coast of Ireland. I assume. Never actually been, but I'm sure it's lovely. So, while it doesn't have a huge variety in location the way that other recent specials have, it makes up for it by making the areas they do use look their absolute best. It's also one of the brighter specials too, with a majority of it taking place during a very sunny day. And even the nighttime sequences are very well lit and easy to see. In terms of puppets, I honestly think they look great, and move great too, probably the best animation quality we've had as of yet, with a few rather gorgeous hand-drawn effects here and there as well. Musically, it's solid, though if Irish accents aren't your thing, you're going to find this special very tedious, because everyone sports at least some sort of Irish accent, or an attempt at one at least. Personally, I don't mind, though I will say it's strange that they tried to have consistent accents in this particular special, when they've always had a weird mix of everything else they've put out, regardless of how little sense it made. Everything else is pretty good, not a lot to say. The songs are good, but not that memorable, I think. There are 4 of them, and while they're decent, none of them feel like they have a huge relation to anything that's happening in the special. Especially Christmas in Killarney. In fact, the entire connection to Christmas is pretty flimsy. Yes, Old Mag needs to get the gold by Christmas morning to keep herself alive, but they could have made it any other day on the calendar, and very little of the story would change aside from Dinty digging up the tree, which, I mean, come on, there's plenty of other excuses you could use for him to go to the island to uproot or cut down the tree beyond needing a Christmas tree. So really, its link with Christmas is pretty limited. Still, for as short as it is, and as shallow as it is compared to the more meaty specials that came before it, it's a decent watch, and one that I wasn't really too familiar with before now. Sure, I knew of it, but I don't think I ever seriously watched it before, which I am glad I did. But I'd probably put this in the category of one I probably won't be revisiting too often in the future.